Have you ever wondered what is the fastest boat in Windrose? Well, it's easy to know what the fastest boat is because their top speeds are listed right in the shipyard. But did you know that not all boats are as fast as their top speed might make you think? So I put together a quick drag race between two islands to see which boats are the quickest and not necessarily the fastest. So my goal with this test was to have every boat start from this area of my dock. So to do this, it's pretty easy. You just have to have one of your boats available to you. Take control, pull up your map, and teleport to your bell. Now this should put your boat right next to your dock. I did this for all the boats in this test. They all started from this position here. And if you see across the water there, that light, that is a signal fire that we'll be using as our target. All the boats were let go at full throttle with no movement left or right. So they all landed about the same place, but there is a little bit of left and right movement because of the sea, but it wasn't meaningful. All right, let's check out our first race between all three versions of the Ketch. So all these boats hit it pretty quickly off the line. They're really small boats, so you'd expect them to accelerate pretty easily. They get to their max speed between 8 and roughly 11 seconds for each. Now we'll speed up to 10x to get across the channel and see which one lands first. You can assume the Blackbeard variant will be the fastest boat across the channel. And sure enough, we hit the dock at 1:17. The stock variant of the Ketch is the second fastest on paper, and it pans out here 7 seconds slower than the Blackbeard variant. The Brethren variant comes in a bit slower. It's got a larger cargo hold, so you would expect it to be the slowest boat. 17 seconds between the fastest version of the Ketch and the slowest version of the Ketch. And real quick, I'll point out that I did these tests empty, but I also did tests with full cannons as well as full cargo. Didn't make a difference. So the weight of your cargo in the boat or the items that you have on your boat have no impact on the speed of your boat. Let's check out the second race between the three different versions of the Brig. So right off the bat, you can tell there's a major difference between acceleration for the Brig. I'm at full throttle and it's taken these boats a long time to get going. They hit their max speed at around 12 to 14 seconds, which is a bit slower than the Ketch, but also expected. And if you had your money on the Blackbeard variant, you won again because yes, it is going to be the fastest boat across at 1:17, which is almost the exact time as the Ketch. Second slowest boat is the Brig stock variant. And the final boat to hit the dock at 1:30, 13 seconds in the gap, is the Brig Brethren. Again, you would expect this. Largest cargo hold means a trade-off for the speed. Now let's check out the Frigate class, all three of them. Just like the Brig, they start off really slow, pretty much not moving barely at all for the first 5 seconds. We hit our max speed at between 13 and 15 seconds. And it takes a while for these boats to get going. And third time's the charm for the Blackbeard variant because of course it's going to be the fastest boat across the channel with the highest top speed, coming in at 1:21, which is about 4 seconds slower than the other two Brig and Ketch variants of the Blackbeard. And the stock variant again is 8 seconds slower than the Blackbeard variant. And then the Brethren comes in finally across the line at 1:38, 17 seconds away. So this result is probably what you would expect just by looking at it on paper. But when I did this test, I noticed that the acceleration was one of the key differences. So let's take a look at the acceleration specifically of all these boats getting to 15 knots. So right off the bat, you see the Ketch can get from 0 to 15 knots in almost 6.5 seconds at the slowest. That's a meaningful change for how the boat moves and maneuvers in fights, because if you're doing U-turns to fight during naval battles, that's going to be a really important number to think about. So the next group to hit 15 knots, it's interesting. Both of the Blackbeard variants of the Frigate and the Brig both hit that 15 knot mark around 9 seconds, which is actually still faster than the Brig stock variant. And rounding out the end of this is our last three hitting at 10 seconds and 11 seconds for the stock variant of the Frigate, the Brethren variant of the Brig, and the Brethren variant of the Frigate. One of the really interesting parts of this chart, it shows that the Blackbeard variant of the Frigate is actually really quick from 0 to 15, and that's going to be an important part of your combat plan. Knowing that the Frigate, the Blackbeard variant, has a lot of options as far as cannons, with a reasonably good top speed and a reasonably good cargo hold, I honestly think it's probably the best all-around boat in the game. Now, I wouldn't use it for long hauls because you probably would get better results using a boat with more cargo. But for my money, the Frigate Blackbeard variant seems to be the boat to get. And finally, I wanted to put all these boats together in a head-to-head race across the channel, all 9 at once, just to see if there was any differences in what we would expect based on their top speed. Here we go at 10x speed. And first, second, and third are going to go to the Blackbeard variants. Pause it there real quick. The difference again between the Blackbeard variant of the Ketch and the Blackbeard variant of the Brig is minimal at best, whereas the Frigate version of the Blackbeard variant is off by about 4 seconds. And now the stock variants of the Frigate, Brig, and Ketch are coming in 4th, 5th, and 6th, with the orders slightly mixed, but not really that meaningful. The 6th place boat comes in at 129, whereas the 4th and 5th come in at around 123.5, 124. And then finally rounding out the boats are all the Brethren versions, whereas the Brig Brethren is 130, the Ketch Brethren is 134, and the Frigate Brethren is 138. So what did we learn? Not a whole lot. We did learn that acceleration on these boats is really the key thing to think about, because top speed is really static across all 3 different versions of the boats. So if you want a boat that's going to be super agile, but also really, really powerful, the Frigate Blackbeard variant seems to be the way to go. But if you want a boat that's just going to be quick off the line, I would go with the Ketch Blackbeard variant as long as you've got good cannons and you aren't taking on level 15 boats. So with all that, hope you learned something. I know I did. Thanks for watching.